Warning. The following video presentation contains scenes of extreme deliciousness. Failure to either eat first or bring a snack to consume during the presentation could result in wanting to lick the screen or in some way act the fool. Ain't nobody want that. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, boys and ghouls. DK's making a snack today. What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? DK's making a snack today. Shove it right into your mouth. DK's making a snack today. What's it gonna be? Is he making it for me? DK's making a snack today. It's time for tactical snacking with DK.
Howdy, folks. How's it going today? Night Songs, thank you so much for the resub. It is much appreciated. Lumpy Pickle, welcome, welcome. Avocado Green KitchenAid. Usual Suspects, how's it going? Hope everyone's doing alright today. If it's hot in your neck of the woods, hopefully you're staying cool. Glad to have you back. It's been a little while, Night Songs, or at least it's been a while since I've seen you in chat. I don't know. I don't have a window open telling me who's lurking or anything like that. Just because I figure, you know what? If you're gonna lurk, I'm gonna let you lurk in peace, and you can just kind of sit back and watch and enjoy, or just poke fun at me, but whatever. Oh my goodness, that is a good reason not to be around. I'm hoping it was successful and everything is cool now. Jeez. It's a little warm. What's kind of crazy, it was supposed to be pretty hot over the weekend, but I think Sunday ended up being mostly overcast. Oh, good. I'm glad they got it all. That's awesome. 'Cause yeah, if left unchecked, oh my goodness, that can go south real quick. Yeah, it's been a little warm, but that's okay. Like, hasn't been too bad overall. In thinking about what to make today, normally it's like, well, it's kind of hot outside, I want to eat something kind of cool, and we did those sandwiches and gazpacho and everything on Saturday, which, interestingly enough, after the fact, I realized I forgot to add the olive oil to the gazpacho, and so later on, when I went to pour myself a glass of it, I stirred in some olive oil, and it smoothed it out quite nicely, but I thoroughly enjoyed it, but that's just kind of me. And we ended up making sandwiches again last night. They just really hit the spot. So picked up a loaf of a sourdough, like a sourdough French loaf, and used that as the base bread for it, and it hit the spot in a serious way. We hadn't really had sandwiches like that in a while, for whatever reason. Don't really know why, but that's just kind of how it went. And it was, yeah, it kind of got me thinking about, doing more sandwich type stuff. And so here we are. I will say it is kind of funny, right before started it up, yes, with C4 for dessert. Oh, yeah, remind me to, yeah, I'll get to that in just a moment. Before the timer ran out, because I have that timer set up specifically So then it allows people, oh, hey, the notification goes out, you know, you can come in, you can kind of get settled in for everything. And during that time, I usually have like this little checklist that I go through where it's, then it's usually like when I put on my apron, it's when I kind of do some last minute things. And one of the last minute things that I normally do is I turn the hat around, because if the hat's forward, my face is all shaded. That's the only reason why I wear the hat backwards on stream, is because my light is right here. And if I wear the hat normally, you can't see my face and it gets all dark and no bueno. But here it is. We're counting down. I'm like, okay, we're all settled. I think we're all good to go. I look and there's like a minute or something left. And I had forgotten to turn the hat around. But in the process of doing that, like, I have to comb my hair and everything because it's getting a little long, which is great because it's taken a long time to get back to this length. So it was just kind of funny that I had forgotten to do it. And so I'm like, I run off to the bathroom and comb it real quick, get the hat back on, come back before the time runs out. So funny ha-has for the day. Yeah, so speaking of the C4 dessert, put it away, froze it, and we've actually been eating on it for the last couple of days, and it's it came out really nice. Very happy with it. What is kind of funny is the mess that it made. So I jokingly said on stream, which there's a couple of clips that are on the Twitch page that I uploaded, so you can kind of see it. It's pretty funny. When I went to clean it, I jokingly said it was probably going to take me about an hour to detail it, and it wasn't too far off. I probably spent a solid 45 minutes kind of detailing it, getting in there, making, like, turning it over, getting on the underside of the main portion of the mixer. I actually was running something up underneath where the planetary gear is, because some stuff had gotten up on there, and so I was trying to clean it out. And yeah, it's it took a while, but you know what, it's all fun, you know, and learning stuff, and it's a good time. So anyways, today's menu, yeah, having to clean it that much, it's not awesome, but at the same time, it's like, you know what, it was worth it because it was really funny, and I got a good laugh out of it. Mrs. Hueso got a good laugh out of it. Hopefully, you know, those that had a chance to watch it got a good laugh out of it. I need to edit just that segment and upload it because it was hilarious. It really was hilarious, because here we are and like starting it up. Next thing you know, what I didn't realize until I went back and watched the VOD was that more of it was pouring out the far side. So like I didn't see it. Like I only saw like the bit that came on this side, and then it was like, oh. And I think the screen, when I uploaded the VOD to YouTube, the screenshot that I used of it was, I think, of the mixer just up and the mess everywhere. And anyways, it was funny. And yeah, if you can't laugh at that kind of thing, then, you know, what are you doing? Because it was hilarious. It was hilarious. Baking soda and vinegar volcanoes. Yes, exactly. The baking soda vinegar volcanoes. This one was a little bit more delayed, but like I said, at least post mess and everything was, next time I do it, A, make sure that the dry ice is completely pulverized, and B, use a very large bowl with the whisk. So then that way there's plenty of room for the dry ice to sublimate and expand, and it won't go everywhere. Oh, no, exactly. I wasn't upset by it, and I wasn't embarrassed. It was just like, okay, this is pretty funny. And, you know, I know some accomplished, like, chefs and, like, people that I went to culinary school with that have moved on to do some pretty excellent things. And they'll tell you that even though this is their profession, they're working, in a kitchen on a daily basis, that sometimes things happen. And if you can't just roll with it, then you've got no business being in the kitchen, because you have to be able to roll with that kind of thing. And yeah, it's it's all about your own attitude towards everything. If you can't laugh at your own mistakes and calamities and foibles and stuff like that, then what's the point? Anyways, today's menu. Let's throw it up there. Okay. Menu for today. Making one of Mrs Hueso and mine's favorite things. This is a recipe that I've made, I don't know how many times. Hey, Scott, welcome, buddy. It is a Colombian Sancocho. Now, I will preface this by saying that there's a number of countries in Central South America and even in the Caribbean that make a Sancocho. And they're all different because every country kind of has their own. This is what Sancocho is in the Dominican Republic. This is what Sancocho is in Puerto Rico. This is what it is in Ecuador and Peru. This one is a Colombian version of Sancocho, specifically Sancocho De Gallina, or a chicken Sancocho specifically. Sancocho can be made with things like pork, with beef, with chicken, all of the above. It's really just a hearty soup that's meant to be, filling and just serious comfort food, really. I don't know how I found this particular recipe. But this one, I came across it, and it's been the one that I've gone back to over and over. You probably could make a seafood or a shrimp version of Sancocho. It wouldn't surprise me if there was one out there. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if there was something like Siete Mares or Seven Seas kind of thing that'll have beef and pork and chicken, shrimp and fish. It really wouldn't surprise me if something like that existed. And it just comes down to timing of when you're adding everything to it and kind of layering on the flavors and everything. But this one was, for whatever reason, we tried it and immediately fell in love with it, and it's the one that we always go back to. Even though I've made it a bunch of times, I've got the recipes for the different pieces actually printed out, and the recipes I've posted directly from the website where I got them from. And I don't, for the most part, I follow it. There's only a couple of things that maybe I'll do a touch differently, but it doesn't take away from the spirit or what the actual soup is. So it is a chicken-based soup that has things like corn on the cob, potatoes, yuca, aka cassava, which is typically in it, plantains, which are, think of a really starchy banana. They get turned into things like tostones, or you get fried plantains, but in this case they're put in chunks and then kind of boiled. They're ingredients that most people in the US probably aren't super familiar with, but honestly, just give it a shot. It's delicious. It is. I honestly, I think the plantain's probably one of my favorite parts, because there is a slight kind of familiarity with the banana, but it's not overpowering, and it is a starchy vegetable, and it's super good in this. Served with it, we're going to make some white rice that will go into the bowl, and then we'll layer in the soup on top of it. So we'll get the rice going. It's a little complicated, but it'll all work out. Trust me on this one of the components of the Sancocho is a flavor paste called aliños, which is probably best described as something like a sofrito. And then people are like, I'm sorry, what are you talking about? So a sofrito, like, is, you see them used in like Puerto Rico and Italy and Spain, and it's usually like a vegetable based, kind of like a it's like a flavor base, really. Think of like a concentrated flavor base that you add to lots of stuff. The one that I'm most familiar with is a Puerto Rican sofrito that is added to just about everything, and it is really good. In this case, it's called aliños. It's made with red and green bell pepper, onion, some scallions, some cumin, some garlic, and some sazon, which, if you're not familiar with sazon, it's, at least the ones that I'm most familiar with are made by Goya. And the one that this one calls for is sazon con azafrán, or with saffron. I've actually made my own saltless sazon, because sazon usually has salt in it. And so this is what I'll be using instead. But that's one of the flavor components that goes into the soup itself. So we have to knock out the aliños first before we can get started on everything else. And then we need to make the ají picante, which is another kind of important component of this. It is a kind of a fresh hot sauce salsa sort of thing that you spoon onto the top of it, and so you really kind of add it to taste. But it's one of those things that once you've like added it to the soup, you're like, oh, it just opens it up and makes it phenomenal. So we'll do that up last. At any rate, let's get started. Oh, one of the other things I noticed in going through the VOD from the exploding ice cream was that apparently the background music wasn't playing. I don't know what happened, but somehow the music got muted, and there was like, it just wasn't running. So I had to go through, make sure that everything was going. Okay. Aliños. We're going to throw everything for the aliños in the blender here. It makes quick work of it. And then we're going to end up using the blender a little bit later for the first part of the ají picante. You were muted that stream at one point. Oh, really? Huh. Because I haven't watched the entire thing yet. I'll have to go back and check. So, anyways. Alright. So we need... that. Okay. So I got a couple of things that are going to be crossover. Specifically, so this onion I'll go ahead and use for that. This is just leftover half of an avocado from last night, but we're going to end up adding it to the soup because that's one of the toppings for it that you kind of have to have. And I've got some bits of green and red bell pepper here that we'll chop up and throw in. And I got a little bit more red bell pepper that we need to chop up and throw in. Let's see. So scallions is something that I'm going to need for the aliños as well as the ají picante. So I got a little bowl set off to the side for that. Garlic, need a couple for this, but then I also want some additional for the rice. So we'll get that going at the same time too. Okay, let's start chopping. Alright. So the recipe, if you read it, it's like half of a medium onion. Well, this was like a super large onion, and I think this will work for kind of our purposes. And the nice thing about the aliños is that normally what ends up happening is like I make a fairly large amount and then just freeze it. So then I have it on hand for whenever I want to knock this out, because sometimes, just like, you know, I'm in the mood and it'll come together pretty easily. So I will say for today, I'm doing it in kind of a more, I guess, traditional style, at least, in that it's usually it's pretty rustic, in that you've got big chunks of chicken and corn and potato and yuca and like all this stuff that's in there, and it's big chunks. I've kind of taken to doing a I guess a more refined version, I guess, if you want to call it that, where like the chicken and everything else is cut up into bite-sized pieces, so then that way I'm not having to deal with like large things and like eat it with both hands. Mostly for kind of easy eatability, I guess. But for today, I've decided, you know, let's just go with the kind of traditional version. So in that way, all y'all can kind of see what it looks like. I washed this ahead of time, just so we're clear. Okay. It's looking pretty equal. There. Garlic. So it wants a couple of cloves, and then I might as well do up my garlic now to add to the rice. But since I'm blending, you know, a couple of cloves in there, I don't necessarily need to. Oop, garlic clove overboard. That. And let's see. So I just needed the garlic for rice and the aliños. I do not need the garlic for anything else, so I can put that. Let's see. We need to do some scallions here. Because the aliños calls for it, as does the ají picante. I mean, it's just going to get blended up into the ají, so I'm not super concerned about nice cuts. I will say, in, you know, kind of like moments of laziness, like if I'm making the ají, what I'll do is I'll actually make it in the blender. I won't completely blend it. But what I'll do is kind of have it on low, so it ends up kind of chopping up the stuff a little bit finer, and kind of call it good that way. But today I kind of feel like, you know what, let's kind of flex them chopping skills a little bit. We'll do all that by hand. Alright, let me go give these a rinse real quick. So bigger bases, and actually slice these kind of into quarters. This medium one here, I'll just slice it in half. That alone. Yep. Okay. Come on, get over here. Okay. Since those are very easy, toss those in. Okay. Those for the aliños. I mean, for the ahi. I think it was the stream, Scott. Could be. I will say it is kind of interesting that I've noticed over the past, I think, a couple of weeks, really. Previously, when I go to stream, because one of the things that they in the stream manager that Twitch gives you is it has a little box showing the bit rate, and it has a little graph that goes along. And when I first, the first few months of streaming, once I got going, it was just a solid line. It never wavered, which was awesome. When I first started, to the last, I don't know, last couple of weeks, I've noticed that it will kind of do this a little bit. And even now, it's still kind of a little jaggy. Twitch is periodically dropping out for me with regularity. It's really bizarre, and I don't know what's going on. And my guess is it's an ISP issue. So who knows? Okay. Scallions in there, garlic's in there, peppers are in there, onions in there. Let's see, cumin, And sazon. Alright, so I got the sazon, half tablespoon. Probably add a little bit more. Just because I can. And a bit of cumin too. And honestly, like I don't have the recipe that I use for the sazon like handy. I don't remember it off the top of my head. I'll have to see if I can find it later, and then I'll post it on the Discord for those that are interested. If not, just buy the sazon goya at the market and call it good. So normally, you know, you add a little bit of water to this. A lot of times I won't, just so then that way it's a bit more concentrated, but I'm going to add just a touch today just to get the blender going. So notice that I seem to be way behind everyone. I'll see things pop up in chat, and then the streamer says what the chat has already responded to. Yeah, that has been kind of happening to me too, Scott. Like I've noticed that myself, and it's like there's a crazy lag, which is really odd. So, anyways, mind your ears. This is gonna get loud. Well, at least it would if I plugged in the blender. That is basically what it looks like. Like I said, I will freeze this just so I have it on hand. But it is a really excellent flavor base for things. I highly recommend, like, especially like if you're making rice, for instance. This is a great addition to the base. Because of the amount of liquid that's in there, what I would actually recommend doing is adding whatever fat you're using to the pan first, add that and fry it until the moisture is evaporated and it actually starts to cook. Then, you know, throw in your rice, get it tossed, and then add in your liquid component. And it'll just concentrate the flavor that much more. So I'm going to actually go take this over by the stove where I've got a pot with water ready to go. And then we will move on to the next portion. I'm going to give this a quick rinse because I am going to need it. Alright, we can push that off to the side for right now. So that is for the ahi, that'll be for the rice. Okay, so the aliños are done. We need to get the prep for the soup going, so then that way we can get it started at least. In the instructions for the Sancocho, what the woman that wrote the recipe says is start it off by adding in like the chicken, corn, aliños, there's some bouillon, salt, and the plantain, and then let it simmer for a half hour. Then add in your yuca, potatoes, and let it go for like another half hour. So I want to get the stuff that I need for that first edition going. What I'm gonna do initially, and this is where I deviate just a little bit, is I'm using, instead of just like a whole cut up chicken, I'm using a pack of chicken drumsticks. I'm gonna get them into, oh, thank you so much, Maria. It is much appreciated. I'm gonna get the chicken legs into the water that I have over on the stove right now, so then that way, when it does come back up to full temp, I can skim off the kind of the scum that forms for a cleaner soup. So I just got my pack of chicken. Since these just came out of the fridge, this is gonna drop temp pretty quick, but I'm just gonna want to keep an eye on it. I thought this pack was thawed. There's a bit of ice on there. That's all right. So currently in the pot, besides the chicken, is 3 liters of water. I will most likely end up having to add a bit more. But once the kind of the gray foamy stuff starts coming up, I'll skim it off, and then we'll add in everything else that we need, and then we can kind of let it do its thing. If we need to add more water, I've got a jug of the drinking water that that I use, and that's in there. We can add more as needed. So while that is going, yeah, and that's looking like it's gonna want to come up pretty quick. All right, so besides the aliños, we need to get the corn. Well, the corn I really don't have to do too much. When I went to the market today to buy a couple of ears of corn for this, there wasn't any, which I thought was strange. Talked to the produce woman. Said, hey, where's the corn on the cob? She's like, there's a bit of a nationwide shortage at the moment. Apparently, the U.S.'s largest grower of corn, which is normally everywhere during the summer here, there was an issue. And apparently, the corn that they normally grow didn't happen for whatever reason. I don't know. So according to her, there's a shortage. Thankfully, they had this, which is conveniently cut into thirds as the instructions call for. So this is easy peasy lemon squeezy done. The plantain, that I've got here, and it oxidizes relatively quickly, so I'm gonna kind of wait until right before I need it to peel them and get them broken up and added in. Let's get the bouillon that we need. Now it calls for 2 cubes, which really isn't that much given the volume that we got going on here. So I usually end up adding a bit more, and then a bit of salt. Cilantro and pepper at the end. Potatoes we can cut up in a half hour or so. Yuca, aka cassava, if you can find it fresh, it's like this gray, rough, kind of looks like the shape of a sweet potato or a yam, but a really rough surface, and it's heavily waxed. If you can get it that way, that's fantastic. However, frozen is what most people end up using. And I got some frozen cassava, aka yuca, earlier today, and I've had it in here kind of thawing. Now you'll notice like there's that little hole in the middle. The reason why that's there is in the very center here is like this really thick, inedible kind of strand, which you end up kind of cutting out or getting rid of. I'll end up like cutting these chunks in half kind of thing. Maybe a little bit smaller, but that's all ready to go, so you don't need to worry about it. Oakley dokley. So, that's good. Let's check the chicken. Okay, it is starting. It's just kind of starting. In the meantime, I should really get the rice going, because it would be tragic to completely forget the rice. So the rice in this is it's one of those things that the first time I made this, and I made the rice like, you know, the lady recommends. It's like, oh yeah, serve it with rice. And I'm like, really? With like all of this other kind of starch and everything? But it totally is, it's super good, and trust me, you're definitely going to want to make the rice to go with it. All I'm saying. Let's see. Rice. Okay. So I don't need a ton, because I'm not making a ton of rice. I'll probably just do this. Alright, so the onion, I like to add onion to the Sancocho personally. I just think it adds a little something to it. So I'll probably throw all of this in, but large chunks, and I won't throw it in until like the last half hour. So that's off to the side. Alright, let's get that rice. That's starting to do its thing. I like to rinse my little sieve here off in between, so then that way I'm not dunking a dirty skimmer back into it. That is heating up. Let's add some oil to this. I'm only doing a cup of rice, since for me and Mrs. Hueso, that's usually more than sufficient. I added a pretty heavy pinch of salt to the onions and garlic, and that's going to be basically the seasoning for it. And I'm just getting 2 cups of hot water ready to go. Alright. So that looks like the rice is sufficiently coated. That should hit boil pretty soon. And now I'm just turning it down to low. Alright, back to the chicken. Alright. Since that is looking good, let's go ahead and add in some jalapenos. That's in. Let's crack open the corn here. Since it's just Mrs. Hueso and myself, I'll probably only end up adding 2 ears. Although there's enough for leftovers, so yeah, let's just add all 3. Let's see. So we need some of the chicken bouillon. Keep that handy just in case. Alright, so that is in. Now we need to add the plantain. Get this out of the way. So, aside for the time being. Since we're boiling the plantains for a relatively long amount of time, the greener the plantain, the better, because in that way they're much stiffer. They also don't come away from the peel all that easily, so it's not uncommon to have to shave it down with a knife. Sometimes though you get lucky and you can just kind of work a finger in. That actually started off rough, but there we go. So we still got a little bit that we need to trim up here. Alright. So this I'm just going to end up kind of breaking up into larger chunks like this. And then we'll just drop these into the soup. Up just to get remnants of the peel off. Okay. All right. So everything is in there. Going. I'm going to turn the heat down to medium and put the lid on and set a timer for 30 minutes. There we go. Alright. Alright, so the only things left to do for the Sancocho is not on the recipe, but something that I like to add is carrots. And what's interesting is when you look at the pictures on the website where the recipe is at, hey, Accidental Chaos, welcome, buddy. When you look at the pictures that are on the website, you can clearly see carrot in there, but it wasn't in the recipe itself. So I got a couple of carrots that will peel up and chunk kind of big and then add them with the potato and the yuca. Let's see. So that's that. The rice is good. The only other thing that we need to worry about is the ahi, and that is a huge part of this whole thing. And I think Mrs. Hueso just walked in the door. She did just walk in the door. Hey, baby. Welcome home.
How's it going?
Good. Come on, we're about to make the ahi.
Did you find avocado?
I did. Yes, I did.
Is it just not ripe yet?
It should be.
We have that turbo.
Yes, but it should be okay.
How's the TV working?
It's working pretty good. I think there's some touchiness with the HDMI cable, but seems to be working okay.
Oh, that looks awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, Pickle, Scott.
So, I've got cilantro. I got cilantro, and I got parsley, which I need for the ahi. Got the green onions already cut up.
Smells good.
Please don't eat all those. I need them for the ahi.
Just two. Oh, let me buy.
I love you too. Excellent. I'm glad to hear it. Oh, you're funny. Okay. So,
Ooh, Dad, I filled the cookie jar.
I did fill the cookie jar for him. All right. First part of making the ahi is actually not dealing with the herbs. We'll deal with the herbs in a minute. The first thing that we got to do. So the recipe for the ahi calls for a habanero that you basically blitz to heck in a blender. The habaneros here have little to no heat. So I figured, you know what? I'm going to go with the jalapenos since that actually does have a little bit of heat. And you really want a little bit of heat to go with this. You don't necessarily need a ton, but you definitely want some. Just because it adds to really everything. Kind of gets the taste buds. It opens it up. It's not enough to like give you heartburn or anything like that, but just a little bit of heat, that background warmth. So we're gonna blitz this in the blender for a little bit until it is totally liquefied, and then we're gonna add it to everything else. So we're going to need white vinegar, a little bit of water. I like to add the salt and sugar that are in the recipe also at the same time to the blender. Oh, excuse me. I don't need to chop these up too finely because the blender will make quick work of them. Alright, so now we need a bit of water and a bit of white vinegar. Let's see, what is it, a quarter cup of water? Yeah, a quarter cup and a half cup of water. Okay, so there's our quarter cup of water. Half cup of straight up white vinegar. Yep. That goes in there. And then a little bit of salt, a little bit of sugar. A teaspoon of sugar. Just grab a pinch of salt. Yep. Okay. I'm actually going to mute the microphone for this next bit because I need to let it go for a while. So enjoy the dulcet tones of Synthwave by White Bat Audio. So I will be right back with sound. And we're back. That was actually louder than I thought it was. So I'm glad I muted it. That gets added to the bowl. Alright, I'm gonna go give this a quick rinse. Okay, that is rinsed and ready to go. With the onion, let me quickly I'm starting to think these actually still have oh, it kind of feels like these suckers actually have those, yeah, they do. Okay, well, I'm glad I did this now. So, I talked about it a little bit earlier, and you can kind of see it, actually. If you look, there's a kind of a brown, like, thread right here. That is, for whatever reason, it's just what grows in the middle of yucca, aka cassava. So normally you just cut it out. And honestly, I don't add yucca most of the time when I make this, and the only reason why I don't is because it's not necessarily the easiest thing to get a hold of, at least not up here. In Southern California, super easy. Especially when, you know, I had a Mexican market within walking distance. You okay, babe?
Yep, fine.
But this little center strand isn't edible, so you just end up cutting it out. I'm keeping it in the water because yucca has a tendency to oxidize. So I'm trying to avoid having it turn brown on me. So you were enjoying fellowship today, darling? A little bit. For those that may not know, there's the band in England by the name of Fellowship. And they just released their debut album on Friday. It's called the Saberlight Chronicles. I've been enjoying it, yea verily. I snuck it onto the thumb drive in Mrs Hueso's car so I can listen to it. This was yesterday, and I get a polo from her this morning as she's driving to work. She's like, "Yeah, I guess it's all right. It's okay."
I think it's if Disney, you know, had a baby with tower metal music.
Yeah. That is actually a pretty common
I love it
for it because it is definitely one of the more flowery kind of power metal albums.
It's not UTA, of course.
No, that's a different thing. That's okay.
How is everybody? cracked a $311.
Oh yeah,
MTG
I saw
yesterday.
that. That was in the Accidental Chaos. That was in the
Hey, Pickle.
the case that you were talking about. I think it was last week. You were like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go, get some and crack them.
And you got some. Hey, this TV's working out. I mean, it's not the 36-incher we had, but it was free.
It's working, and the price was right.
Why are you buying soap at the Exploding Ice Cream store?
Yeah.
You can buy all kinds of stuff at the Exploding Ice Cream store. That ice cream was fantastic. Even though it exploded. The first day there was like a bit of carbonation to it, so it was like, is there Sprite in this?
Yeah. It was kind of funny.
It was awesome.
There we go. Big chunks of potato. Probably. I need a bigger bowl. Oh, nice. Thank you. If you didn't hear Mrs. Hueso just now, the days today's sumo tournament, I think it's like day 10, I think. Yeah, 10 or 11 of 15. Day 10. And part of doing that is the channel that we watch it on. You can use the channel points to bet on the Division 2 matches, and so we've been doing that. And it's a lot of fun, especially when there ends up being upsets. So that's been, something that we've been enjoying doing as the evening progresses. Let's get the carrots prepped real quick. Then we can finish the ahi. Oh, is it? Well, happy birthday, Accidental Chaos. That and about like big chunks. Okay, 13 minutes until the addition. Okay, so let's get back to the ahi. Got tomatoes here that we will add. And then the ahi just gets spooned over the soup. Skittles. Well, there's actually a number of Twitch streams that are showing Anthony Bourdain's shows. Usually like No Reservations or I forget what the show after No Reservations was. I don't know if any of them are showing Cook's Journey, which was the first series that he did on Food Network. Before moving over to the Travel Channel. Well, there's a number of Twitch streams that are like that, though. I'm sorry? Oh, that sounds like a story I kind of want to hear now. In case they watch? I'm guessing, I'm no, but I'm guessing I know who the name is.
Yes.
You guys have big plans? For her birthday? Yes, we have friends coming into town. And there will be much rejoicing. Dim Sum Saturday. That's true, we can. Alright, so we need some parsley now. Quarter cup of parsley and then a half cup of cilantro.
Yeah, dim sum's my very favorite food. And our usual place tanked because of COVID. We decided, you know, let's try some new places. And we went to a new place. And oh my gosh.
Like a week, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, we walked in and I teared up. It truly felt like my birthday because it was so amazing. It was just like the old days. Because we haven't had a dim sum Saturday like that in
Forever.
A number of years because of the Rona. So that was awesome.
Yeah, no, it was a cool place, and it definitely, like, it felt like the dim sum places that we
in
used to
LA
go to.
and Southern California, but no, and then the following weekend, some people are coming to town.
So
Very excited about that.
yeah, it's going to be a good time.
Yeah. So it'll be a whirlwind weekend. Oh, dim sum's the best. And we can make dim sum Saturday the weekend people come to town too. I am happy for that because dim sum, the bigger the group, the better.
Yeah, it is definitely a lot more fun as a group.
But I don't know what the group's doing, and I don't want to plan stuff for the group.
Well, if nothing else, I can message the group.
Yeah. As the time comes closer, we should do that.
Yeah. So yeah, and if the group is down for that, like Saturday morning. Oh yeah, that was a. But you see what that says?
Japanese style peanuts.
Yes. Okay. So
Where did you get these?
I got these at the Mexican market I went to today.
You went to the Mexican market?
The little one that's
Over there.
Over there. Okay. So, wrong camera. All right. So these Japanese style peanuts, right? I just found these today at a this little Mexican market that I went to. There's these peanuts that I used to get all the time in Southern California, but you can never find them anymore.
They're so good.
They're super good. Kusagi peanuts and you. Anyways, I saw these in the checkout line today, and I thought, you know what? We need to give these a try.
Give it a whirl.
So here's, hang on.
These are a little different.
So this is what they look like. The ones that we're used to are peanuts with kind of like this thin, kind of almost like a cookie coating, I guess. That's a little sweet, but they're super good. These are much harder.
Yeah, they're a lot harder, and they're not as sweet.
Very different. Okay. Oh my gosh, I think I'm gonna crack a tooth on these. Oh, yeah, go start up my thing. Okay. Yeah, but a dim sum place that we went to. Very happy with it. Super, super tasty. Very happy to go back there. And to be honest, in some ways, I think it was actually better than our old place. Alright, so parsley is mixed in. Time for the cilantro. Give. Let's see. Need about a half cup chopped. So let's just take that. Give that a wash. Day 11. It's only a couple more days. Big upset last night. Enho lost. He was favored to win his match.
I lost a lot of salt.
Yeah, yeah. Well, both Mrs. Hueso and myself lost a lot of salt on that. But what ended up happening was he was trying to take down his opponent. He was doing kind of his signature move, which is it's like a variation on a judo takedown. But the problem is his hair ended up touching the ground first. And so because of that, so because his hair hit the ground first, he lost. But, and to be honest, it was super, super close between his opponent's, I think it was his opponent's hand, but Enho ended up going down on his head, which was kind of crazy. Is it salsa? It can be considered a salsa. It's an ají picante, which I've seen a bunch of variations of. I've seen a lot of people, well, let me rephrase. My first introduction to an ají picante that was kind of like this was in the home of a family from Ecuador. And they would make a bowl of the stuff on normally like a day, every other day basis that was like vinegar, thinly sliced red onions, and it had like red pepper flakes. And I'm sure there was other stuff in there, but this was like 20 years ago. I don't actually know. It's like 25 years ago. I'm old. But that was kind of like the version that they would make. There was another family from Peru that made something similar, but it was mostly just like a fresh hot sauce / salsa that you would just kind of add to your food. So you'd have a plate of whatever, rice, beans, some kind of meat, maybe a vegetable or something like that, and you'd have this big bowl of the ahi in the middle of the table, and you would just spoon however much you want onto whatever, and every family would make it differently depending on where they were from or whatever. So forgot the lime juice. Let's add the lime juice. 52 seconds. Smells good. I was just thinking after the stream we should probably have a look at the matchup sheets for the basho. Okay. Avocado slice up. And let's go back to the cook cam since this is what our soup is currently looking like. So let's add in that. I did not. Oh, is the stuff in there dirty? Oh. No. Okay. So it looks like we should probably top it off with more water. Okay. So I just measured it into a Ambro container here. So that's about another quart. So let's add in some additional onions. Salt. Crank the heat up. And last but not least, a little bit more of that sugar. Up. good lurk, man. Let's check the rice. That is good to go. Alright, so we just need to juice the lime, get it into the ahi, and then that is all done. Beauty. Oh, this avocado is actually slicing a lot better than I thought it would. Okay, that's good. Get that rinsed. Okay. All that stuff is pretty good. Quite up to 10 yet. Meantime, we'll get this stuff put away. I'm guessing that the individual that was doing the bad mouthing is the one that's been difficult, and the one that they were speaking with was the one that I met the other day. Called it. We have spoken in sufficient code that nobody knows who on earth we're talking about. That's for the best. That's true. No, I get that. Well, but I find it fascinating that that particular individual was calling you unprofessional.
That's what the other person said. Like, really?
Well, and let's be honest, probably the comment stemmed from the fact that you actually stood up to them and told them, no, you're doing it wrong. Stop doing it wrong. Do your job, which is what you were supposed to do. And so that individual just got a little butthurt, would be my guess.
See why they said what they said.
Oh?
Sometimes my mouth runs away.
Eh.
Say something like, oh, shit, I should have done that, but I'm learning.
Eh. I get that. But given the fact that your immediate boss and
I know, it was crazy. Someone needs to pee on stuff, and that's the road.
that's the we're out the big thing. Get the big bowls out for this. This is a big bowl meal. And it's usually, this is what ends up happening, is I make Sancocho. It's like, oh, it's just going to be for, Mrs. Hueso and myself. I'm just going to make a small amount. It ends up being a very large amount. However, what it does mean is that we get to eat on it for a couple of days, which...
And you can freeze it, so it's in the filing of the freezer.
That is true. That is very true. We most definitely can freeze it. So, like, that's what I'm going to do with the aliños here, is I'm just going to get them into a zip top bag and then freeze it. So then that way, whenever I need it, I can just pull the bag out of the freezer, bust off a chunk, and then call it good. Just in case. That worked out quite well. Are you singing fellowship songs?
No.
There's a few people that I can think of that would be very happy to hear that.
So we just need to wait for this to come to a boil and cook the whole stuff.
Yeah.
And then we can eat.
Oh, there we go. And so it's back up at a boil. That's good to go. I need to label this.
Is that the aliños?
Yes. This is the aliños.
Mm-hmm.
That thing. I got bolillos. So then that way, if we wanted to have like a slice of bread to go with it. Well, I mean, that was really the whole reason why I got them. What is 19? Okay.
David!
Thank you.
What does burning smell like?
Okay. So that is all good to go. Oops. Something burning? Oh, man.
What does burning smell like?
Excellent. So we got like a half hour to kill. Any questions from the class? Anything at all? Topic of conversation? Anything you'd like to know?
Something.
Okay. Oh, look at that. Mr. Shreddy Boy is on. So that is most likely who we're going to end up rating and making fun of. Because we can.
I don't know if I make fun.
Well, that's fine. But,
He is not a small dude.
no, he is not.
I couldn't believe how tall he was. Like, dude, wow. And I thought DK was tall.
Well, he's not as tall as I am.
No.
I mean, he's relatively close in height, but he's not, So is this a soup? Yes, it is Accidental Chaos. It is,
A Colombian chicken and rice soup.
Yep.
If it's our, like, chicken noodle soup go-to.
Without noodles.
Without noodles.
Yeah. It's a chicken soup is really what it is. But Sancocho, there's versions of Sancocho in the bulk of, like, Central, South America. Same with the Caribbean. The, like, Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, I believe Cubans also have a Sancocho. But it varies from region to region. And even within the regions, there's multiple versions of Sancocho. So this one is a Colombian chicken Sancocho that I'm making. But even within Colombia, there's a bunch of variation because you can make it with beef, you can make it with pork, you can make it with beef, pork, and chicken. You can probably make it with fish. It's meant to be just a really hearty soup / stew, although it's not thickened at all. But really hearty, and it's normally, at least in Colombia, it's normally served at lunch, which usually is the largest meal of the day. So then that way it kind of sustains them for the rest of the working day and everything else. So, like, that's why in when it's normally made, like, whole big chunks of chicken, big chunks of vegetables and corn and stuff like that. So you're using both hands and just kind of going to town on it. Previously, when I've made this, because I've been making Sancocho for what's it been, like a decade plus now. What I will do sometimes is I'll make kind of a quick or more refined version where instead of using these large chunks of things, I cut them up smaller, so then that way it's, more just straight up eat with a spoon. Takes a little bit more work to get it going, but it also cooks much quicker. Oh, nice. That is surprising, Lumpy Pickles. So Lumpy Pickles has been in the middle of a fairly large project at work. That sucks. But hey, at least he's back from work, so there you go, man.
Tell me about the project.
Oh, he's doing a mass email migration. I don't know any more than that, but I'm guessing it's like migrating from like Microsoft Outlook to like Gmail or something like that. That would be my guess, but I could be completely wrong. Lumpy can explain further if he wishes, or if he just wants to completely write it off and be like, no, I don't want to talk about it. This is, a waking nightmare. Oh, no worries, dude. No worries. You're fine. We were just talking about the email migration, and Mrs. Hueso was asking specifically, like, what kind of migration are you doing? Moving from one 365 instance to another for 700 plus people. Oh, is that all? Syncing up mailboxes, making sure that, mail is backed up, and for 700 plus people. I think that is a great question. How many IT guys are there at your company? I know there's you, and I know of at least one other person. Or is it just you, Lumpy? I would imagine there's at least 2. Could be wrong. Well, For our company, the group is small, but the company that bought us has a very large service desk. Oh, okay. Well, so what Lumpy was telling me, this was a while back when his company was acquired, is the original company they worked for, yes, they had their own in-house IT, and that's what he did and everything else. However, the larger company that bought them is pretty well known to have an outside IT group / service desk that generally tends to be remote, but sometimes you just need on-site stuff. You know, somebody's got to set up new computers and phones and tablets and all that fun stuff. Yes, also nice having teamwork. Yeah, they outsource a ton of services, which, yeah, that's what every company does. And it's short-sighted. Ooh, that is bubbling away nicely. Let's give it an action shot. Happy to explain more when we're here. Yeah, awesome. Do they have work from home jobs? Wouldn't it be nice? I would imagine that they do, and it's probably like help desk type stuff. But sometimes you just need an on-site IT guy. You do sometimes. Puppy. She's laid out in the sun quite a bit today. Oh, here comes the big guy. Where's Jane? Hey. Oh boy. No, I did not. I did not. That is something that I have done in the past is I have made this with chicken stock that I've made from scratch as opposed to adding the chicken bouillon. And it's fantastic. But it's not completely necessary. I'll say that. And I only say that because with everything else that's going on with it, yeah, sometimes it's not necessary to have like that homemade chicken stock. It is, if you happen to have it, by all means, absolutely use it. It will be fantastic. But it's one of those things that you kind of hit a point of diminishing returns. Trying to find a party time one. Oh, there's corn. Yes, there is. There's corn in there, there's potato, there's yuca, there's carrots, onion. What else is in there? Oh, yeah, corn shortage. So, I explained a little bit earlier. The reason why I used frozen corn in this is because when I went to buy corn at the market today, there was no corn on the cob. And I talked to the woman that was there in produce, and I said, hey, where's the corn on the cob? Because they had bins of it for like a month kind of thing, leading up to July 4th and even afterwards. No corn on the cob, which is strange. So I said, you know, what's going on? And she said that apparently there's a nationwide corn shortage at the moment because one of the largest growers, for whatever reason, either didn't grow what they were supposed to, or there was an issue with the crop, or something. And so she said that, yeah, there was a nationwide shortage on it. which if you start to think about all the things that corn is in or gets used for, so I mean that corn would have been used for your canned corns, your cream corns, your frozen corn, and I'm just talking about the edible corns that end up being like processed and frozen for, you know, the rest of the year. Then there's the much larger bulk of corn that's grown in the U.S. at least that is not edible. I forget what the ratio is, but I want to say like the amount of like hard corn that is not meant for people consumption. I want to say the ratio is like 5 or 6 to 1. Like it greatly outweighs the edible corn for us, and that corn ends up being used in animal feed. Also look at your a lot of liquor production, because your moonshine generally is corn based. Your, at least in the South, well, bourbon producers, corn is one of the major ingredients in things like bourbon, so it affects that kind of thing. I wonder if the corn grown in the San Joaquin Valley that has been hit so hard by the drought. Maybe. I don't know if they're one of the largest in the nation, though, Avocado Green KitchenAid. I would imagine that the kind of the largest growers tend to be in the Midwest. At least that was my understanding. But
I'm just reading now that beans and chickpeas are running low because of the conflict in Ukraine.
wheat and chickpeas are running low because of the conflict in Ukraine.
The Ukraine is the number one export.
We imported wheat and chickpeas from the Ukraine?
Apparently.
Wheat.
That's what they're doing.
Well, no, I'm just like, that seems so strange because wheat is, last time I checked, I thought it was a major crop in the U.S., but I could be completely wrong. Hey, DePerson, welcome, buddy. We're currently talking about global supply chain issues when it comes to things like corn, wheat, chickpeas, etc. And apparently, here in the U.S., according to an article that Mrs Hueso is currently reading, that the supply of wheat and chickpeas in the U.S. is getting quite low because of the conflict in Ukraine. Because apparently Ukraine is a major grower of that gets exported to us, which I had no idea.
The 5 top things in the U.S. to grow: corn, wheat, soybeans, cotton, and hay.
Okay. That makes sense. It's odd. But, well, today, yes, exactly. Today I learned. Well, what I was talking about was when I went to get corn on the cob from the market today to go into the soup, that the market didn't have any, and what the produce woman was telling me was that there's a nationwide shortage on corn right now. I'm like, what? What's going on? And apparently there was a thing. And for whatever reason, the nation's largest grower, some kind of issue, and because of it, there's less corn to go around. So, who'd have thought? Oh man, that is smelling very good. Oh, it's smelling quite good. Very happy. 13 minutes on the clock. Then we can start plating up. It said there was a corn shortage because, as Ms. Wood said, farmers have a lack of fertilizer. Oh, it's a fertilizer.
Why is there a lack of fertilizer?
Yeah, so why is there a lack in fertilizer? That's odd.
Sanctions on Russia, bad weather, and export cuts have fueled a severe fertilizer shortage.
So were we getting fertilizer from Russia?
We're getting parts of fertilizer.
Oh, yeah, it might be components.
Oh, that's crazy.
So weird. But it makes sense because, I mean, your commercial farming is so different than what it used to be, because now it's like you have to fertilize, you have to do all this stuff in order to completely maximize your output in order to get paid. Whereas previously it was like, you planted, you did, the work that you were supposed to, and then God willing, you'd have a good crop or something like that. Whereas modern farming has removed a lot of the guesswork, and you're like, okay, we've, got stuff done. Granted, you have to take care of things like pests and weeds and the like, which is why what?
Food prices.
Yes, and that's why food prices have gone up. That's just how it works.
Yeah, Russia exports 40% of the world's potash, which is part of what's in
40% of the world's potash is exported from Russia. Okay.
Yeah, 11% of the world's urea, 48% of ammonium nitrate.
Oh.
And the Ukraine and Russia together export 20% of fertilizers made from nitrogen, phosphorus, as well as potassium.
Interesting.
That is really cool.
That is fascinating. And that would explain why it is what it is.
I'm sorry we didn't grow any of our own.
I know. Seriously, if I had known that it was, this kind of thing was... I don't know. There might be there's probably late harvest strains. Fill up the whole bed out front. True. Would be good. I love corn on the cob. What about starts? Simmer cam going. Maybe as long as because I had zero frozen corn. Yeah, that's probably it. They had a whole coffin case at the market with the frozen green giant corn, which is what I grabbed one of. There was frozen corn in the other really long coffin case. Sorry, coffin cases, when you go to the market and you have like the open, like either freezer cases or refrigerated cases that are down on the ground, they're commonly called coffin cases. Yeah. Almost makes me want to go and grab half a dozen bags or cans or whatever. Oh? Apparently we can. That is true.
What I've learned here, though, is October 1, like the sun is gone.
True.
But that was all of August, all of September, and half of July.
Could work. Oh, you know what? I wonder... So the place that we went to, the corn maze last year, I wonder what's going on with them. There was a small farm, it's not that far away, that we went to the corn maze that they had during the Halloween season last year. And It was quite a bit of fun. The corn was literally like 10 plus feet high. It was nuts. But we had a good time, and I'm glad I wore my boots because I knew it was going to be muddy.
I've never been.
So I'm really curious what the situation is over there. I haven't driven by there.
Sweet corn seeds.
Oh, nice.
I'm planting.
Okay. Oh, that's right. You're taking tomorrow off.
Yeah, because I have my doctor.
That's right. You got your doctor's appointment.
I'm having surgery.
Yes, that is correct. Next Wednesday, Mrs. Hueso is having a procedure done.
What?
Procedure,
Yes.
not cosmetic, other stuff. Halloween already. I know, right?
Everything will be fine.
Everything is going to be fine. It's not like, oh, she's got to have, whatever done. No, it's minor procedure. No big deal. So. Oh, yes. That's mid-October. Mid to late October. Possible. It's worth a shot.
And we can just have baby corn, right?
Oh.
Baby corn.
Ain't going on about nothing about my baby corn.
Okay. So we need to buy some fertilizer.
Good luck with that.
Some compost. They're going to have some of the at Park Rose or Home Depot. Right?
Probably. Well, I know. Yeah, probably.
Thanks. Thanks for your luck. Yes. Accidental Chaos said thanks for good luck on the procedure.
Oh, no.
It's unnecessary. But it's fine. It'll make my life better. Whee!
Well, Night Songs was in here earlier, and Night Songs has been gone for a bit because they had a skin cancer thing removed. Everything is fine. So.
If you're gonna get cancer, that's one of the better ones to get.
Yeah.
No, they're
Most definitely.
yeah. Mine's lady bit issues. Let's say that. But all will be great. I'm excited for the outcome. I'm happy to tell you details if you want to know. I'll tell you all the details.
She'll talk about
Just
it.
send me a message.
That's true. But no biggie.
Yeah.
Okay. You can absolutely do that.
Help me.
Sure.
I mean, pretty much ready to go.
Yeah. Just get utensils out in order to dig stuff out of the soup in order to get into the bowl. Kind of chill. Is the ice cream gone? Oh, there's still a little left? Oh, that's right. That's right. Oh, very nice. Well, we also got plenty of fruit, so. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh. I was just thinking, like, oh yeah, that'll be nice when we're enjoying sumo later. The other thing that we've been watching recently and that we've been quite enjoying, it's a British show called Taskmaster. And it's a game show, basically, that has a group of five comedians. And they give them tasks to do, and then depending on how they accomplish the task and whether or not they do accomplish the task, they're given points and everything, and then there's, who wins the day and who ends up try to make it explode again. Oh, so because it's Accidental Chaos's birthday on Thursday, they're asking what do we have planned for Thursday? Well, at the moment,
what do you like?
You know what? At the moment, I can't say that I have anything specifically planned.
We could make some more ice cream.
We can make some more ice cream. I can go get some more dry ice, and we can do more of a controlled explosion, not an out of control
Where's
one.
the fun in that, though?
You didn't clean the mixer, I did.
Fair enough. I would have if you asked me to.
I know.
Because
But
I'm that kind of person.
yes. So yeah, what'd you have in mind, Accidental Chaos, besides the exploding ice cream?
Yeah, what's your favorite foods?
Did I miss a boom? On Saturday, I made ice cream with dry ice, and it went all over the counter and all over the knives, which my knives are clean now, by the way. But it's on the VOD and it's on YouTube, so you can totally see it. Yeah, controlled explosion. Exactly. Controlled. Meanwhile, Janet Jackson is somewhere singing. That was a reference that few people, only older people would totally get. But yeah, definitely check it out. It's pretty funny. Because we're making ice cream and it's like, okay, we're going to do it with dry ice. And I did it in the mixer. And I started adding the powdered dry ice to it. And the next thing I know, there was a big mess. How do we feel about teriyaki chicken? We feel very good about teriyaki chicken. Yes, it was a giant mess. But it was funny. It was funny to experience it, and it was a pretty funny thing to watch. So yeah, definitely go back and check it out. But yeah, we feel good about teriyaki chicken. So we can do that. What kind of vegetable sides? Obviously rice. But yeah, how do we feel about a vegetable side? That's what we need to know. "26 seconds on the clock. Soup is simmering away. It's almost time to turn off the timer. We can load up the rice and get the dinner party started. Oh, there we go. Okay. Turn that off. All right, so step one. Okay. Alright, so that's kind of a fistful of rice. I tend to like a fair amount of rice with this. Grab a couple of things of corn, carrots, potato, other potato. Chicken, more chicken. Oh, there's some things. There's Luca. Let's find some. Oh, there's some plantain. Go. I feel like I should just, as a matter of, course, just add more plantain to this. Plantain disappeared. Like, seriously. Oh, that is weird. Well, I did get a piece, but I can't seem to find it. Oh. Alright. Now let's get some soup. Excellent. I got a couple of legs in there. I got some corn, potato, like one-ish chunk of plantain. So I got spoons over here, by the way.
Okay, I'm getting seed soaked in.
Okay, cool.
The germinate fast.
All right, so I'm gonna give this a taste real quick. Okay, we're good. I just wanted to make sure that it had sufficient seasoning, that it, no more salt or anything like that. So, all right. So then we go in with avocado. And yes, I am scooping an entire half of an avocado in there because it's really good that way. And
this is a small avocado, so we're talking only 50 calories.
Yeah. And give that ahi a quick taste. Yeah. There we go. I tend to like a pretty decent amount of ahi in there. There's our Sancocho De Gallina Colombiana.
Ooh, talking fancy.
Talking fancy. This stuff is straight up delicious. I'll let you decide the sides. Okay. I was just cleaning off the button. Oh, good. So, like, carrot here you can chop up, potato you can chop up, plantain I usually chop up. Most of the time, like, I take the chicken off the bone. Do it in there, but then I invoke my namesake.
El Chupo Hueso. Does that mean I need to start sucking bones? I already did. That's what she said.
'Tis what thy maiden uttereth.
Come on, you know the boys are going to say something.
Well, of course they were.
This ahi is really good on eggs.
Mm-hmm.
In the morning. All kinds of stuff.
Okay. I'm gonna take a short break, go grab some chairs, and then we'll be right back. Okay?
I'll be right back.
Hello, boys and ghouls. DK's making a snack today. What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? DK's making a snack today. Shove it right into your mouth. DK's making a snack today. What's it gonna be? Is he making it for me? DK's making a snack today. It's time for tactical snacking with DK. Making a snack today. What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? DK's making a snack today. Shove it right into your mouth. DK's making a snack today. What's it gonna be? Is he making it for me? DK's making a snack today. a snack today? What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be?
And we're back and barely on camera.
Hi. Smells amazing.
And it, yeah, even though it's pretty hot outside, this stuff just,
Yeah.
it hits the spots in such a big way.
It's one of my favorite soups, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, I had said something like it's like one of our top 10 like foods.
Yeah,
Easy.
I would definitely say that. Those sandwiches we had the other day, that was in the top 10. Taco salad. What else? Ooh,
Oven fried chicken.
with Jenny and me all day.
Yeah.
It's a little hot. I'm gonna let it cool down. But smells amazing. And I didn't eat all the tomatoes.
Huh.
It's amazing these little tiny tomatoes taste so amazing out of Canada. What? What do you guys want? Oh,
They're like, where's our food?
oh, it's not quite 6:30.
It's pretty close, but it's
I should be.
okay.
Well,
While your soup's cooling down.
yeah, because it is way too hot for my mouth.
For your mouth
My
hole.
mouth is sensitive.
Bit of that yuca. My God. Tomatoes from Yahi in there. Mm. But I mean, you can see like how this is a super filling meal, right? I mean,
Well, and it's not super high calorie.
no, it's not super high
I mean,
calorie.
the rice, if you go overboard on that,
Yeah, but overall, like, I mean, there's
there's
very little fat.
Yeah,
Mostly vegetation.
and the potato. Okay, I don't have a whole potato.
Yeah,
A whole potato is maybe 100 calories.
but
That piece of a carrot's 20 calories.
yeah. Mm. Potato. Mm. Bring up one of the cobs. Let it cool down. Mm.
Fair dog food, Brian?
In the usual place.
I don't need it. You will tomorrow.
I know. That's why I pulled it out this morning. This stuff makes me all kinds of happy. This is so good. And it's easy to make. And like the
Easy to make. It's good for you.
yeah. The
It's
ingredients
inexpensive.
aren't terribly exotic or anything like that. The only thing that might be even remotely exotic would be like that yuca, but even then, if you
Don't
don't
put
make
it
it
in.
with it, you don't need to add it. Just
Yeah.
I would add maybe some extra potato or plantain. But honestly, like it's dead simple. It's super good.
Yeah, use what you got. Because if you can't find plantain or you don't want to buy it, then just do
Have fun.
potato, carrots.
Yeah. Potato, carrots, corn. You know?
You can do peas.
Yeah, you could. I mean, I get it if, like, cilantro's not your thing. That this ahi might not be something you're terribly into. You could omit it, to be honest. Just add a more of a vinegary-based hot sauce, so something like your Tabasco, Crystal, Texas Pete, or something like that. Won't be quite the same, but it'll still give it that little bit of an acid hit with a little bit of heat. Or you could just do like a squeeze of lime and, you know, fresh chopped chili in it if you wanted to. Yeah, the plantain's got the faintest hint of banana, but it's like really faint.
They're hot. Woo! How was your day?
My day?
Yeah.
Not bad. Yeah, not bad. Got a lot of stuff done this morning. Hit the market.
Got your car back.
Got my car back. You had no issues with yours?
No, but when I came home, the check engine light came on.
Well, we can actually take that over to the auto parts place and use their little reader. Although I will say, locally, the one that I would say to go to is one of the O'Reillys, because their little deal-mabob actually has the ability to clear it. So if it's like a nothing...
Yeah,
thing,
for all I know, the gas cap just needs to be tightened.
Yeah. So yeah, if it's like a nothing thing, you can just clear it like that.
It works pretty good. It was semi-productive.
Were you able to get into that system that you were having issues with yesterday?
Yeah. I was hoping to do payroll, but unfortunately, one of the main managers couldn't approve her people, so that will have to wait till Thursday.
Is it the one that typically has been giving you issues with that?
Yes. But I talked to her, and so it's not I just don't want to do it and I'm being lazy. She's completely overwhelmed, and her team's been understaffed for a long time. Wearing her pretty thin. And then she hired someone to, as part of her team.
Mm-hmm.
They went through the onboarding process, so you're hired, and they came in and like, yeah, we're not working here. We never applied. Like, you were onboarded. You did way more than apply. have fun. Avocado Green Kitchen.
Alright, have fun with the tacos. That sound, okay. Maybe folks in chat can verify this, because this is something that I've heard about recently, is that there'll be, like, people who will apply for something, but then, like, they'll have, like, a friend of theirs or someone else actually go and interview. But then, like, they hire somebody who, like, was there at the interview, but then who rolls in for the first day of work is not who was interviewed.
I don't know if that was
I've heard about this happening more recently.
But this was a case of this person interviewed and then got onboarded. Like, onboarding is not a simple process.
No, there's paperwork.
Yeah, I mean, it takes time. There's videos you have to watch, You have to submit your, proof of being able to work here in this country, and like, how did you submit, why did you submit all this stuff if it was a job you weren't interested in? It's been really interesting. Thankfully, turnover is not as bad as it was last year. And it's not because we're a bad company. We're actually a pretty nice company. It's just turnover everywhere was crazy. And this year is significantly better, but people are crazy. So I feel bad for her, because here's, yay! Finally, someone, a breath of fresh air to have. Nope.
The corn's okay. It's not the greatest.
I haven't tried it. Woo! Warm.
Haven't heard of that, but I wouldn't put it past people. Yeah. I forget who was talking about it. Somebody was talking about it not that long ago. Where
That'd be crazy.
I don't remember if, like, they were in charge of hiring or something like that, and they had got an application, they liked it, they interviewed the individual, and everything was great, and they're like, yeah, we'd like to offer you the job. Okay, cool. And then person rolls in on the first expected day from work, and it is not the person that was interviewed, it was somebody else entirely. And it's like, wait, what?
That's fraud.
It is fraud.
And I can't imagine they expect to keep their job.
No, but what's so strange is the fact that it wasn't an isolated incident. Like, I want to say, like, I've seen or heard about it occurring multiple times. Odd.
Oh, I'm sure. Not the easiest place to eat at.
No, it's not. I was just thinking that this would probably be, because it is pretty awkward to sit here and try and eat, because, I mean, there's drawers and everything right here. It's like I'm trying to, yeah, it's an awkward place to try to eat, so kind of think we might call it a day.
Yeah, since chat's quiet.
Yeah. So, thinking, yeah, that will be the case. We will, we'll call it a day. I'd like to say thank you to both Night Songs and Radio Huttese for resubbing. I'd like to say thank you to Person, Avocado Green Kitchen, Accidental Chaos, Lumpy Pickle, Night Songs, Scott2572, those that have popped up and spoken in chat. I'd also like to say thank you to those that are hanging out and lurking.
Yep.
We appreciate you guys. Thanks for coming and hanging out. And of course, should you all ever have any questions, please feel free to pipe up and chat. And if you don't want to pipe up and chat, that's fine too. You can get a hold of me by way of... Basically, if you go to the Linktree link, all the socials are on there. So you can get a hold of me by way of any one of those. The Discord's probably going to be the best place. So thank you so much, everyone, for coming and hanging out and enjoying Sancocho with us. So, everybody...
My head's cut off.
Yeah.
Bye.
So, everybody have yourself a wonderful evening, morning, afternoon, whatever. And I will see you all online. And Thursday, it sounds like we're doing teriyaki chicken. So, enjoy the meal and have a good night. Yep, thank you so much, person. Everybody, have yourself a wonderful night. And we will see you Thursday.
Hello, boys and ghouls.